Coming towards our next talk, so we are connecting all of the Muslims issues side by side. We are here to make or to bring the hope in also in people. And the Muslim and the Mu'min basically, they are always hopeful. They are never the hopeless people. So we really need to stay positive and try to struggle in all our adversities and have a tawakkul in every situation. In order to put some light on on these points, I would like to invite Dr. Alia to talk about staying positive and have a tawakkul during all these adversities in our lives, being a Muslim. Thank you.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आप में से कितने लोग उर्दू नहीं जानते? सभी लोग। Okay. First of all, thank you to SIIS for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to you. I'm of Kashmiri heritage. So my grandfather and my father was from Srinagar. So I have a different kind of emotional attachment to Kashmir. Before me, Dr. Arif Kasana Saab and Dr. Samreen and Barakat Saab also has given a very comprehensive information, historical, political, and what we can do in the Swedish society. So I'm not going to go towards that. And what can we do as Muslims and Kashmiris and Pakistanis all around the world? What can we do to tackle this situation? There are different kind of people. Since 5th of August, when the Article 370 was abrogated, there have been different kind of people who have been directly affected. People in the Indian occupied Kashmir, the state of Jammu and Kashmir, their relatives abroad, who are mostly in Britain, Pakistan, the Middle East, South Africa, and the US. And then those Kashmiris, like my forefathers, who migrated long before that. And then there are ones who are in Azad Kashmir and Pakistanis who have the borders right next to them. So they are closely related. And we study so many things in social studies that Kashmir banega Pakistan, not Pakistan banega Kashmir. And we raise flags of Pakistan and Azad Kashmir on different occasions. But as Dr. Arif Kasana and before me, the other speakers have also said that the conflict is not between India and Pakistan. The third and the important party is Kashmiris themselves who are living in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And United Nations has already said that referendum should take place and they should vote and they should decide. So we cannot decide for them what they want. There are, of course, groups there who want to be with Pakistan, and there are people who do not want to be with Pakistan. But we should respect what they will choose. So that's why the flags are disturbing for them. And as far as the protests are concerned, like there was one outside the Indian embassy, and there are all around the world in the US, UK, where there are many Kashmiris and other people as well. Those images do give hope to people in the valley. Since 5th of August, this is 35th day that the telecommunications blockage is there. So they cannot talk to their friends and family, relatives abroad, but also inside the valley and also to their relatives in India. No television, no telephone, no landline, no mobile phones, which means that they do not have access to even going to the hospital. So locked inside their homes. But that's the reality. And as it has been said before, that we should know the facts, what exactly is happening. We should not exaggerate the situations as well, like old pictures of young people who died 3 years ago or 4 years ago and blowing up those images and putting that up in the media. We know how many youngsters have died since 5th of August, right? Because as Mormons, as Muslims, we shouldn't be lying as well. We know that psychologically and emotionally, it's a very dire situation inside the valley. But we shouldn't mix up the previous things with what is happening right now. So all these people who are living in Kashmir, they have a different kind of, they will have a different kind of response as we will have. And as Dr. Samreen has said, that there are so many different Muslim communities all around the world who are going through different sorts of challenges, starting with Jordan. Israel, I think, bombarded a couple of days ago Lebanon, Iraq, Syria. I might be wrong, but 3 countries, for instance. And then the Muslims from Myanmar, the Muslims from China, the Muslims from Sudan, Somalia, Afghanistan, and sorry if I've forgotten any other country which is going through challenge, but also minorities in a Muslim majority countries. Yemen, yeah, I forgot Yemen, but also in Muslim majority countries. So what is our response to them? Like when it happens to Kashmir, वो कहते हैं ना कि जब घर के करीब कुछ होता है या तो आपका response और तरह का होता है. Is our response the same for all the communities? No, it's not. Same is true for others as well. So what can we do? Should we all become social activists and respond to all the calamities? We cannot do that. But whatever we know about Kashmir, we should know with facts. And why is the world not responding to us in the positive way? Like it's been said by Dr. Kasana, the political and the diplomatic missions of Pakistan, for instance, they probably not have done enough work in the last 70 years. Like after 60s, the first meeting in the United Nations was called by Dr. Maliha Lodi after 50 years in the United Nations this year, after this clampdown of the telecommunications blockage. So right now, the most important thing for us is to think about the telecommunications blockage and the Article 370, which has been abrogated, and that has affected on the semi-autonomous position of Kashmir. And then we should demand what United Nations has already said, the referendum in Kashmir. So they decide, they choose what they want. I'll give you an example when trials and tribulations and calamities happen, and they have been happening all the time. Like we feel like it is the end of the world. Some people say that it's the Qiyamah is coming, but I remember my grandfather was really worried when it was Iran-Iraq war, and he used to say this is the end of the world. And then when Russia attacked Afghanistan, and then there were other, like the Palestinian issue was quite hot in the 80s and the 90s, and also Kashmir. So things always happen, and they happen for a reason. There are tests and trials for us in different ways. Like the Kashmiris in the valley, for them, they have to think about food. Like how will they get food in their houses? It's the 35th day. They cannot go out. So how will they get food? That's their most important worry. And their safety. It's 80,000, approximately 1 million Indian soldiers in a small valley. So 1 soldier to 10 Kashmiris in the valley. It has a lot of psychological and emotional effect on them. But think about when a volcano erupts, the lava, it's scary, it's dangerous, but it destroys everything in its vicinity. And then ashes. It's all dead, no living things, no human beings. But what happens after that is new ecosystems emerge, which wouldn't happen if the volcano wouldn't erupt. But volcano erupts on its special time. So God's plan and God's timing, it's special. So maybe the test for Kashmiris, Palestinians, Somalis, Chinese Muslims from Myanmar, it's all making them patient and also preparing them for bigger causes. And in those moments, we have to remember God, like the prophets did. We have been given examples in the Quran, but also in Bible, in Torah, even though they have been cancelled. But there are stories from Moses alayhi salam's life that he was born in the year when Pharaoh who is symbolically thought about, considered as the most tyrant, oppressor in the whole world. Moses alayhi salam was born in the year when it was ordered that every other year it was ordered that boys should be killed, but he survived. He was still born in that year, and God put this in the heart of his mother, that she should put him in the river Nile in a small basket, and he flew towards the palace where Pharaoh was himself living, and Pharaoh's wife picked it up. These are not coincidences. God has a plan and God plans this. But what a moment and a Muslim does is that has complete faith and tawakkul, that absolute power is with God. It's not with Modi. It's not with Imran Khan, or it's not with the Kashmiri leaders even. So dua is the weapon of the believer. Yunus alayhi salam, when he was in the belly of the fish, darkness upon darkness, he prayed, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. So indeed, we are the sinners. So we have our shortcomings. So we should, of course, ask for forgiveness from Allah. Okay, what are we doing? We all know what we do. The laws that we break, the meanness we do, jealousies and all those things. We do several things. It's not just the political leadership, not just the kings or prime ministers of Muslim majority countries. We, of course, have a lot of hope from them that they will do something, but they will not do something. Even one person, I've forgotten the name of the young Swedish girl who went to the US, Thornberry, Greta Thunberg. She's just a small girl, right? And she did things consistently every day. Same is true for Eva, who was in the US when people were not allowed to sit. Black Americans were not allowed to sit together with the whites. She made a small movement, a small step, and she sat on those seats where only white Americans were allowed to sit. So things have been happening all the time. They will be happening everywhere. We have to know the facts. We have to be honest. Are we really honest about this situation? Or are we exaggerating? Ke zulm ho gaya, mar gaye, tabah ho gaya. We should know our intentions. Like, why are we doing this? So I will just finish this talk by saying that tawakkul should be like this, that if we are praying, have you heard of a story that a community was praying for rain, and a boy went in the big ground where they were praying with an umbrella, that it's going to rain. So let's pray that for Kashmir, the conflict is resolved. Because it's not the first time that the internet clampdown has happened. It's the 52nd time during 2019. Not just internet, but telephones as well. It's 52nd time just in the valley of Jammu and Kashmir. And internet has affected the hospitals because the information for the patients is in that. And of course, it's a big psychological effect on the generations of Kashmiris who have actually lived there. I have a friend who just came back after living there 6 months, a week ago. And I know that those who have lived there, they have a different kind of approach to life because they know that they can die the next day. So they have that kind of approach. So let's make a hope and hope for the people of Kashmir that their resilience, their steadfastness is answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the provider of all. He knows everything. He's Al-Alim. So he can, if he wants, and if we make the dua with this conviction that tomorrow the telecommunications blockage at least will be resolved, and we will make a phone call or write an email to somebody in the valley of Jammu and Kashmir. So let's make this hope and positivity And let's have the same kind of response for all the other issues as well. And let's prepare the future generations to understand that facts cannot be distorted through exaggerating the images or thinking that we are the good ones only and all the others are evil. And that's not true. All evil has goodness in it, and goodness has evil in it. Like the Pharaoh who provided Musa alayhi salam for many years. Musa alayhi salam lived in his palace. So even evil can provide you with something that we cannot understand. So inshallah, Kashmir will have peace. And all the efforts, different kind of efforts with our thinking that we are doing. Some people are writing, some are writing. Shafkat Khatana Sahab has written to the Riksdag, different politicians. And PIX has written so many articles. Dr. Arif Kasana Sahab has done so much in the Swedish community. And I believe that in all languages, we need this information. Like our children who speak Urdu or the people who know Urdu, they need to know as well in Urdu. But also the images that we have, the people who live in the valley when they get the internet, because there are places, for instance, near the airport where you can get the internet, or when they travel outside from the state of Jammu and Kashmir and go to Delhi or other places, they see the images and they really get strengthened that people in the world are doing something. So, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alia, for all of these positive words, because they are really very important. In the end, when we are going through all of these negative thoughts and listening continuously about the adversities of the Muslims, sometimes we used to immunize unintentionally, and sometimes we are very much exaggerated, and on the other hand, we are completely immune and we don't even think about it. So we really need to be in center. We have to be moderate, and we have to stick to these points and understand these values and be positive and keep making a dua. Because being a Muslim, every Muslim has a right on other Muslims. And it's very important that we have to remember them in our daily life also, to make a dua for them. And I will tell you that even everyone is trying through writing, through speeches, through even the pics like Shahzad Bhai is making video. Everyone is doing their effort and putting their effort, and that effort is recorded. And even all of you people, I'm really thankful that you guys have come over here, and even you have come over here. That is also an effort, and this effort is also a part to being a positive and to put your energy and your effort into this solidarity and into the direction of making something positive, thinking something positive for your Muslim brothers.